Hello our dear viewers and welcome to our show. Today we're going to be talking to you about a very interesting topic that is continued to be researched by many researchers and scientists, and that's fiber and weight loss. So we've talked to you about fiber previously and the importance of fiber in our diet. But what's really good to come to, mind to, or to come to think about is your gut and why your gut really needs fiber. So we've already come to terms with the fact that we have trillions and millions of live bacteria in our gut. And these bacteria are actually beneficial, and especially if you feed them well. Now once you start feeding them horrible food, they turn into the harmful bacteria and they can harm you more than give you any health benefits. Therefore, it's very important to be very mindful of what food you're taking in just to feed that gut bacteria and make sure it's growing. Because what a lot of research has shown us is that gut bacteria really can help you with digestion, can help you feel better, can help you with inflammation, and most importantly for so many people, it can actually help with weight loss. So you're probably thinking, how can I feed this gut bacteria and what can I eat in terms of fiber? So this is what we're going to be getting to today. But the idea is that it's not any kind of fiber that will help this bacteria, it's the viscous or soluble kind of fiber. Now fibers differ basically on how they turn or what the consistency is of that fiber once it hits the stomach or your gastric fluid. Now the thicker the fiber becomes, that's ultimately the better for you. You want something that's going to turn into a thick, viscous substance, something like honey, because that is what will stay in your intestines for a longer period of time, and it will actually feed your gut bacteria. And the great thing about soluble fiber is that it comes and it just stays intact. So your body doesn't really know how to digest it. It doesn't know what to do with it. So the bacteria get it as is and they feed on it, giving them much more nourishment and energy, which is a great thing for you because then you're feeding the good bacteria as well as you're feeling full for a longer period of time. And that's what research has shown to help us with the weight loss. So the more full you're feeling for a longer period of time, that means the less tendencies you'll have to snack or munch on other foods that could make you gain weight. Now stay tuned so we can talk about other sources of the soluble viscous fibers. Welcome back, dear viewers. So like we said, The viscous, the soluble fiber, that's a type of fiber we're looking for. One of the main things this type of fiber does is it reduces inflammation. So have you ever had a meal and then you felt bloated or constipated or you had heartburn? These are all signs that the meal did not digest well in your system. Now, if you included some form of soluble fiber in your meal with that specific meal, you could have reduced the incidence of inflammation. And you always have to keep in mind that whenever your body's going through any form of inflammation, it's probably releasing the stress hormone cortisol because it is in stress and it's not in favor of that environment. And once that stress hormone cortisol is released, you need to keep in mind that it's a lipogenic hormone. So it's a hormone that will make you store more fat. That's why we don't want that hormone to be available in your body, or at least we want it to be controlled. So it's very important, again, to be very mindful of what foods could trigger inflammation for you. Now, there are not any specific types of food. There are many different types of food. So it will really vary from one person to the other. And it's also very important to keep in mind that sometimes it's not the food, but it's the spices or the herbs used with the food, or even the cooking methodology. So sometimes when something is deep fried, it could really be upsetting to the stomach and the gastric flora or the healthy bacteria in your stomach. Now, when we come to the viscous fiber, it's really important that you focus on that with every meal. Now, like I said, the great thing about the soluble or the viscous fiber is that once you eat it, your body doesn't really know how to digest it. If you are going to be taking it in large quantities at the beginning, you will probably get a lot of bloating because this is something that will just sit in your stomach. Your body will not know how to digest it. What it acts is it acts like a prebiotic. So this is where the good bacteria or the probiotics can feed on. They'll feed on this viscous fiber, they'll get energy from it, and this way they will make sure and maintain your colon health, as well as they'll be keeping you fuller for a longer period of time. If you think about it, if you drink a thick liquid like something like honey, it'll probably stay in your stomach longer than something liquid like water. Now, the question is whether you should take it as a supplement or as its natural form. Please stay tuned because that is the topic we'll be talking about next. Welcome back, our dear viewers. So the question is, should I take this soluble or viscous fiber in a supplement form, or do I need to take it in its natural form? Unfortunately, this is one of the foods that you can't really be taking as a supplement. So all these supplements that say that this is a high fiber supplement or a soluble fiber or viscous fiber supplement, you're really not getting much benefit out of it. And what research has shown is that taking these supplements will not give you the same effect as eating the food. Now, you're probably thinking, what foods contain these viscous soluble fibers? Well, you need to think of something that will make any liquid thick. So grains like oats, those will, soak up a lot of liquid and make your liquid thicker. Again, flaxseed is another great soluble fiber, and so are chia seeds, because once we put the chia seeds in the liquid, again, they soak up the liquid and they make it thick and viscous. So these are the foods you need to think about. If you are in favor of having vegetables, then asparagus and Brussels sprouts, again, are great vegetables that are loaded with this viscous soluble fiber. So these are the foods that you really want to be focusing on, and it's really easy, for example, to add chia seeds or flaxseed or even oats to your daily meals. Whether you want to have them for breakfast, you can have a porridge. For people that don't really favor porridge, you can always use oats in many soups. So even if it's just a regular vegetable soup or a tomato soup, you can always add oats as a supplement to it and use it. But with oats, you really need to be careful. You don't want to overdo it with quantities. Things like a quarter cup is more than enough for your serving. And when it comes into terms to chia seeds and flax seeds, you do need to keep in mind that these are fat sources of soluble fiber. Therefore, they do pack a lot of calories. Try to maintain it at around 1 tablespoon a serving. You don't want to overdo it. Again, with flax seeds, they need to be ground, and you can always sprinkle them on things like soups and salads, and that's a great addition to your meal. With chia seeds, I personally just like to add it to plain water, and I think that's one excellent way of me getting it in my diet. Other ways, you can add it to any other food. It should be in a liquid form. You can turn the chia seed into a pudding, so maybe the mhalabiya or any other pudding like creme caramel dessert, you can add chia seeds and explore how it is with them. Now we hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we'll see you all next time.